With January being upon us, we got some new tier shifts for Gen 9 competitive and also the latest usage stats from December. And there are some insane shifts and stats. The powerhouse terrakion has dropped all the way to the PU tier, and even Iron Moth, a former OU staple, has dropped to the UU tier. But Pokemon like Primarina and even Iron Crown have both stayed OU. There's much more to discuss, so let's take a look. As you can see right here, we have all the tier shifts and the usage as well. We're gonna go over them, some notable stuff. I'm not gonna try to drag this video out too long. Also, to my regular viewers, I wanna apologize for the lack of edited content as of late. I've just been very busy with college stuff, but don't worry, because next week I got a lot more content, a lot more edited content planned, so be on the lookout for that. Anyway, let's take a look at some of these shifts. We have, rises to OU. Let's talk about these first. We got Clodsire, Meowscarada, Weavile, and Pelipper. We also got Torkoal. So let's talk about Clodsire first. So Clodsire is one of the better checks to first fall Raging Bolt, which is like 6th in usage right now. It's also, it's a good Pokemon against rain teams, which, as we, mentioned earlier, Pelipper has risen up. With Water Absorb, this Pokemon can basically shut down rain teams on its own. Not to mention, it's a good check against Walking Wake on Sun teams, which have risen up. Not to mention, it's a good check also against Volcarona, which has been unbanned and is very high up in usage right now. It's a great check to Darkrai. Basically, it checks special attackers, right? Good check against Anemoris with Stellar, which is also very common right now. Archelodon, it can check that. So this Pokemon basically has risen up because it's a very good check against a lot of Pokemon in the metagame that are either have returned or are even better right now. Primarina's even OU right now. This Pokemon does not really care about Primarina at all. So that's basically Clodsire in a nutshell. We have Meowscarada. Now this Pokemon has been massively buffed with the DLC. It gained triple Axle. So this is basically Weavile, but kind of better, because you got protein, so you got triple Axle, you get that step on triple Axle, you get step knockoff, you get step flow trick, step U-turn. I think choice band sets or heavy duty boot sets are by far the best. If you want to go for a sword stand set, you obviously go Weavile, which we'll talk about in a second as well. Terra Electric has been very common on this Pokemon as a means to basically hit Zapdos very hard without getting having a chance to get paralyzed. Meowscarada is just, it has always been good, but Triple Axle just gave you that extra push it needed to be excellent in this metagame. Weavile, I've talked about Weavile like multiple times. It got Triple Axle back. That's basically it. I mean, we all know how good Weavile was in Gen 8 with Triple Axle knockoff, not getting knockoff in DLC 1. Now it has Triple Axle in DLC 2. Nothing a lot to say about here. Weavile is still Weavile. It's just not. It's restored to its former glory. So yeah, Pelipper's back. A lot of that has to do with Rain being now better because of Archelodon, a new Pokemon that has been introduced with the DLC. Great Pokemon on Rain teams. Rain is Ogerpon also has fallen off in usage quite a lot, which could otherwise one-on-one Rain teams pretty much 6-0 those. So that is also a good thing for Rain. We have Torkoal back. Do I really need to explain? We got Gouging Fire at number 9 right now. We got Raging Bolt at number 6. Two Pokemon that fit very well on Sun teams. I mean, Walking Wake is still a thing. We got those on Sun teams. I mean, Roaring Moon has also been unbanned. So we got all these Proto-Synthesis boys back together again. So yeah, Sun automatically is gonna be great. Now we also have some drops, unfortunately. By the way, we're gonna mainly go over the OU tier. So the lower tiers, I'm not gonna really talk about those. We got Garganacl OU2 UUBL. This happened last time as well, but Garganacl is still a good Pokemon, and it's gonna rise up back to OU again. It's just new toy syndrome, and it's a good Pokemon on balanced teams, but Hyper Offensive is more preferred, with the DLC release. So Same goes with Alomola right here, which dropped down as well. Among Us, I think Among Us it's the same thing. I still think Among Us is a great Pokemon, and it will rise up back to OU again. This literally also happened with DLC 1 release. Among Us is a good Pokemon. I've been using it. However, I will say that it does lose to a lot of the newer threats in the metagame. For example, we got Gliscor back, which, you know, that just uses Among Us for Spike Fodder, Gouging Fire. It can easily take this Pokemon on. Roaring Moon can easily take this Pokemon on. Iron Boulder can take it on. Volcarona is also back. Kyurem is back. You know, it does have a good matchup against other Pokemon like Superior, for example. So, it's not a bad Pokemon. It's just the meta around it, not favorable. Blaziken, OU to UU, it dropped to UU last gen as well, but I don't see this Pokemon staying in the UU tier. I'm not seeing it staying. I'm probably gonna get banned to UUBL, or it will rise up to OU sometime, but it does face some heavy competition from Gouging Fire as of right now. And, you know, with the speed creep being as high as it is, you really need Protect on Blaziken, which is not ideal because you lose a coverage option because of that. And if you don't use a coverage option, you will get easily revenge killed. So that's basically the deal with Blaziken. Blissey to UU, I mean, kind of to be expected, but I mean, when we need a Pokemon to tank a special attackers, it will rise back up. So it will probably rise back up sometime. Cerulege, basically, it's outclassed, or not necessarily outclassed, but faces a lot of competition from Gouging Fire, which is way better. Deoxys defense dropping down is, yeah, how do I put it? Insane, but not unexpected. It's just a very passive Pokemon, and the job that it does do, there are a lot of Pokemon that can do it better. Its typing is not great. Its ability is okay for the Pokemon that it is, but there are better Pokemon out there. The only thing it does have going for it that other Pokemon don't is Teleport, but other Pokemon just have way better qualities that make up for that. Like Gliscor is just, if I want a Spike Setter, I'll use Gliscor, for example. So, yeah, I mean, Deoxys defense. This Pokemon was, it's insane, right? But not unexpected. Garchomp dropped down again. Also not unexpected, but we got like 20,000 new Dragon types, or old and new Dragon types in the tier that are just better. We got Kyurem, we got Gouging Fire, we got Roaring Moon back. There's not a lot of reason to use Garchomp when I can use one of those Pokemon. Greninja also dropped down. You know, I don't think Greninja is bad, but New Toys Winter will do that to a Pokemon. Also, you know, Raging Bolt is up there, which can easily take this Pokemon on. Iron Boulder can outspeed it. Roaring Moon can easily take it on. Kyurem is back. Rillaboom is still a thing. So yeah, automatically Greninja is gonna suffer from that. Hydrapple, kind of surprised that it dropped down. I don't think it's a bad Pokemon, but it does face some heavy competition as a specially oriented Dragon type. For example, from Specs Kyurem and Specs Dragapult, of course, still being a thing. And as a Grass type, it faces competition from Superior. So there are better Pokemon out there to use over this. We got Iron Moth dropping down to the UU tier. This Pokemon was like last month, wasn't it? Like top 5 or something. Crazy to see. I mean, I don't think this Pokemon will last in the UU tier. The reasons why it dropped though, I mean, Iron Boulder can outspeed it and can check this Pokemon quite well. Roaring Moon can outspeed it and check this Pokemon. Raging Bolt can check this Pokemon. Slogan Galar's also risen up in usage quite a lot. Gouging Fire can take this Pokemon on. Gliscor can check it. Those are all top 10 Pokemon, by the way. Deoxys Speed can outspeed it and KO it with Psycho Boost. We got Volcarona, which is also faces competition from, as you know, Volcarona is still the superior form. Keldeo dropping down. I mean, it was UU last gen, but it's an underrated Pokemon. In my opinion, might rise up back again. It does get Vacuum Wave this generation. We got Kingdra dropping down. Kingdra is a very sleeper pick on rain teams. I'm surprised it hasn't stayed OU. On Rain Team, this Pokemon is very difficult to actually switch into. Like, use Kingdra on Rain Team. This Pokemon is a menace. Lodi Twins dropping down. I mean, Latios was UU last gen. Latios was UUPL. Not too surprising. However, they did get some massive buffs. I do think they still have their niche in the OU tier, but do face some competition. Manaphy dropping down. Isn't this the first time Manaphy dropped to the UU tier? Correct me if I'm mistaken, but I think that is the case. There's just a lot of stuff that outspeeds Manaphy. Superior can easily take it out. We have Roaring Moon back. I mean, it's all the same stuff, right? Raging Bolt is right there. Slogging Galar has seen a lot of usage. Clodsire also being, you know, back in usage. Does appreciate that. Rillaboom is still a thing. Kyurem being back. I mean, I feel like I'm making the same point every time, but it's basically because of that. Oh, Meowscarada rising up, of course. Also not beneficial for this Pokemon. Manaphy just does not have a good matchup against some of the better Pokemon out there. Which, you know, and New Toy Syndrome, of course. And I still think Manaphy is not a bad Pokemon. So, it probably wise up back to OU sometime. We have Ogerpon, Cornerstone. I think this was coming a long time. It was hanging on the thread in the OU tier, like every shift. So not too surprising. Bombay. This Pokemon was, you know, one of the, like, a super good Sticky Web setter. However, Sticky Web has kind of fallen out of favor. It's still a good playstyle, but it's not as good as it was pre-DLC. First of all, Deoxys Speed is a very common lead, which can easily taunt this Pokemon and shut it down. We have seen the resurgence of, like, an anti-lead like Excadrill, for example. Even though, like, Iron Thread can do the same thing, but Excadrill as an anti-lead has been common, which can Rapid Spin on the Sticky Web and KO with Iron Head. You know, Superior is a Pokemon that still exists, or now exists, I mean, and you don't want to give Superior a speed boost. Glimeora's also being, you know, more common as a lead, which can just Mortal Spin that those, you know, the Sticky Web away. So, like, not that favorable for Bombay. You know, last two Pokemon, Venusaur. I think Venusaur is a good Pokemon on some teams. Don't count that out. And Zapdos. I think it's the second time it has dropped to UU since its release. I mean, it was UU in Gen 5, but it's UU right now as well. You know, I'm a little surprised about Zapdos dropping down, but it has been worse with DLC 2's release. It was like one of the top Pokemon before, but it basically just comes down again to the new Pokemon, right? Iron Boulder can KO with Raging Bolt, outright walls it. Gliscor is back, which can very easily wall it. Slogging Galar, you know, being so high up in usage again. Couching Fire, all Pokemon that can easily take it on, which Zapdos cannot do a lot against it. Archelodon also be quite common, hurts Zapdos a lot. Kyurem being right there also hurts Zapdos a lot. Meowscarada gaining triple Axle, and now, you know, using Terra Electric to take it out. Same with Weavile, although it does not use Terra Electric. So as you can see, it just basically comes down again to the new Pokemon, old Pokemon that are great in the minigame right now. And Zapdos just does not match up against those very well. You know, we got a lot of bullshit dropping down to the lower tiers as to be expected. I will note this though. Conkeldurr, Crawdaunt, Empoleon, Hoopa, and Mammothswine dropping to RU. That does not seem right. But I don't play UU, so I cannot say a lot about that. But it doesn't seem right to me. Lastly, what I want to note, Thundurus to NU, that's a trip. That's a trip. Oh, and Terrakion dropping to PU. Now, from what I've known, it got banned after 2 seconds. Rightfully so. This Pokemon has been consistently like UU and OU, right? So PU is crazy. You know, let's take a look at some usage stats I want to talk about. As you can see, Great Tusk, Kingambit, and Golden Ghost still dominating the top 3. I will say though, Great Tusk and Kingambit have dropped down in usage significantly, but still the top two most Pokemon in the tier. Because Iron Boulder at number 4. Really shows how good this Pokemon is. Roaring Moon is back, And already at number 5, Raging Bolt. At number 6, Hatterene. Seen a very big uptick in usage thanks to hazard spam, of course, especially from leads like Deoxys Speed. Gliscor got unbanned for 1 second and also already made its way into the top 8 again. Gouging Fire, number 9. Iron Valiant, number 11. I think this is the first time since since Pokemon Scarlet and Violet that it has been not top 10. Correct me if I'm mistaken, but I think this is the first time it has dropped out of the top 10. Surprised that Deoxys Speed is not up there. It's still number 12, like very high, but I thought it would be like in the top 10. Volcarona number 13, Darkrai number 14. These are just great Pokemon. I don't think Darkrai is like mid, right? It's good, but not overbearing or anything. Still very high up in usage, so I wouldn't be surprised if it does drop down a little bit. I think because it got banned after so long that it's probably high up in usage. People want to use that. We got an Emers number 17. That, not surprised at all with Stellar. Our Shadow number 18, I am a little surprised about. I thought it would be lower on the list, but hey, good for Chaladon. Got Kyurem right there, number 19. Cinderace dropped down a lot. Number 23, still a good Pokemon though. Of course, Meowscarada made its way to OU at number 24. Skarmory at number 25, surpassing Corviknight. If you wonder why, spikes. That's it. Literally spikes. That's all there is to it. Superior number 28. Thought this would be higher, to be honest. And aside from that, Primarina being in the OU tier, there was a team that hit number 1 with it. It's seen a lot of use. Calm Mind sets have been popular, and Assault Vest sets as well. Iron Crown also being number 37 in the OU tier. I think it will drop down though, probably in the next month or the month after. Excadrill still being OU. I love Excadrill, so that's a W. Toxapex almost dropping out of the OU tier. I really want to see this thing being UU. I don't think it's very good at all. So, yeah. Ogerpol Wellspring, of course. Top 10 Pokemon since the DLC 1 release. Now on number 41. I mean, it's not a bad Pokemon, but I made a video about it. It just doesn't match up well against a lot of Pokemon in the current metagame. So yeah, those are the tier shifts, usage stats I want to talk about. Let me know your thoughts. Anything that stands out to you. And thank you for watching. Keep an eye out for more content next week, and I'll see you next time.